Hi guys, welcome back to the Git version control playlist. In this video, we are going to learn the core Git fundamentals that every developer and the DevOps engineer must know before working with repositories and collaboration. So in this video, we will be covering the initialization, how we will be initializing using Git, and how we will be tracking files using Git add, and how we'll be changing or saving the changes using git commit, and checking the repository status with the git status command, and viewing the commit history using the git log. Okay, so basically these are the basic building blocks of git, and once you understand these commands you will be ready to manage your code efficiently and confidently. Whether you are a beginner, tester, developer, or a DevOps engineer, this video will help you build a strong foundation in Git version control. So let's get started. So first, what we'll be learning as a part of this video is that first we will be uh, knowing about three states before you get started to actually writing the code. So when it comes to three states, first you need to have a working directory. Then you will be writing some files. Then you will be adding those files to the staging. Once adding to the staging is done, you will be moving those files into the local repository. It means you will be saving those files. So these are the basic three states of every Git. Okay, so then when it comes to init, what actually is initialization? So initialization is nothing but whenever you create a folder, by default it is not a Git repository, it is just a normal directory. Whenever you run git space init, what it does is it will convert that normal folder as a git repository. Then we do have git add and git commit. So basically git add is nothing but, as I said, the second state of the first point, where we need to add the files whatever you have created into the staging area. So internally it will be adding to the staging area, where Git recognizes that you have created some files and you have added some content. Then once you add those files into the staging area, there is one more command called as git status, where you will be knowing the status of the files that you have added, that you have modified, that you have deleted. All these things will come under git status. Based on your requirement, you can ignore a specific file or you can add a file or anything. Okay, so then we have git space commit. So after adding the files to the staging area, it is important to save those files, correct? So whenever you create a normal file, what you need to do, you need to save the file using control S in the normal scenario. Then only the changes will be saved. Similarly, in git commit is that command that saves all your work whatever you have done. So you need to commit the code only if you think like these are the final changes. Okay, so git commit you can do to save the changes. Then next we will also be learning about commit messages. See, while giving the commit, you should give a specific commit message to inform what actually is the work you have done as a part of that commit. So it's not like you can randomly give any name. Yeah, see, in terms of acceptance, Git will accept whatever message you give as a commit message. But it is important to give a correct commit message that defines the type of the work you are doing, and out in that particular type, what is the work you have done. It can be bug fix, it can be documentation, it can be new feature, anything. Okay, so these kind of things. So we will also be learning about what are the right commit messages and what are the naming conventions which you need to give. I mean, preferred naming conventions that is followed by industry professionals worldwide. All these things we will be checking. Then we have git log, where you can see the history of whatever commits you have made until now. So git log, when you enter, so for example, you will be doing multiple commits like 4 to 5 commits daily or more than 10 commits. So whenever you enter git log, what it does is it will show you with the list of commits and the information about those commits. Okay, so then we have dot git ignore. So basically what git ignore does is that, so whenever you write some files or modify some files or delete some files, there are few files that involves adding the secrets, or for example installing the dependencies. There will be some dependencies related to this artifacts, everything. So those files you should not push to the repository because those are required for our local testing. Like for example, if you want to test it a script using some environmental variables, so you can add those values into .env file in your local. Then what you can do is you can just read that script and you can do it. But while pushing or while moving these files into the repository, it is preferable not to use them, because in the review what will happen is that it will identify them as a secret and it will cause the compliance issues. So that's the reason we have .gitignore, under which you can add the specific extensions or the folder structure where you want to ignore, where you want Git not to track them. Okay, so this also we will learn in detail. Okay, so next we will check what are the different three states and how we perform, how we migrate from one state to another state. So first we do have a working directory, so which is a normal folder. Then you will be initializing using git init. So once you initialize using git init, what it does is that working directory will be changed to the local git repository, where you will be editing, creating or the deleting files. So in this case, at this particular state, it considers it as a modified or untracked files. Okay, then as a next step, what you need to do after creating those files, you need to add those files into the staging area. Staging area in the sense, internally what it does is it will, the Git will recognize that you have created few files and added some content. Okay, so basically this staging area is nothing but files ready to commit, and it is a snapshot you are preparing. Use git add to move the files here. Okay, so this will create a snapshot before doing the actual commit or actual save in the normal terminology. Then we have git space commit, where you will be permanently saving those files in your local repository unless and until you make any further changes. What you need to do is that it will be saved. So committed snapshot saved forever in a .git folder. Okay. So see, the life cycle is that working directory is a one-time activity. You will be creating the files, you will be adding the staging area. This is continuous process. Once you do the update, again you need to enter git add, then git commit. Again you are going to modify something, then again git add, again git commit. So this process of cycling repeats until and unless you push the code. Okay, so this is the most common process which we will be doing in the day-to-day activities. So basically we need to remember this important point. A commit is a snapshot. Files move from your local disk to the staging area. Then from the staging area, it will be moved to the repository. So this staging and repository movement can be done. This staging can be done by using git add. Then movement to the repository or saving the changes in the local repository can be done by using git commit command. Okay, so hope you got it, guys. Okay, so let us move into the next. So this is kind of hands-on sessions, how we'll be doing it. See, first I said we need to create a working directory, correct? So that can be done by basic Linux command mkdir space the folder name, and you can switch to that directory within the same command, or you can enter the separate commands, it's up to you. Okay, so here I am creating this repo, then you need to switch to that particular repo. Okay, so then what you need to do, you need to initialize it, because see, by default whenever you create a directory, it is just a normal directory or a normal folder. So you need to convert this normal directory into local git repository. So that can be done by using git space init command. So if you see, this is the output that will be printed. Okay, so now in order to verify that init command works, so you can just enter ls space minus la, which will display you with all the files and folders in this particular directory. So whatever directory you are seeing here, so it will be displayed. So for example, this is the file that will be created, this is the folder that will be created, where it tracks all the configurations, all the files, whatever you have made, all the modifications that you have made in your local repository will be automatically saved in this particular directory, git directory. Now, so let us try to understand the summary. What actually .git is? It is a heading folder storing all the commits, whatever you did, and all the branch related information, whatever you have created in the local, and all the configurations which you have added, okay, in the local. So all these things will be stored under .git. Okay, now the next question is, does any impact on our source code? So no, it doesn't delete any files, it just adds the tracking. So what this git init does and git add, all these commands does is that it will tells git whatever activity you have done, so that it will recognize. Okay, now, so how many times we need to run this init? Okay, so for example, you are creating a new project, init should be run only once. So init is basically is nothing but it doesn't add any files to the staging. It will just convert your existing normal directory into a git repository. Okay, so these are some of the rules. Okay, so let's get into the next slide. Now, git status. So what git status does is that, so for example, you have created some files and you have not yet added it to the staging area, and there are some files which have added it to into the staging area and it is ready to commit. So in the second scenario, whatever I have told, so this is the second scenario. So whenever you see something in green, this indicates that you have created few files and you have added those files to the staging area and it is ready to commit. Whereas these files, whatever you are seeing under red, so these are not yet committed. You have created these files. For example, index.html you have created, but you have not added this file to the staging area. Okay, so all these things, so there are some untracked files, okay, which are not yet tracked. So all this information you can find it by running git status command. Okay, yeah. So now, like just as a summary, like green, whenever you see something in green, so for example this block, so it is ready to commit. It means like these files are staged and it is ready to commit. Whenever you see something in red, it is nothing but these files are not staged or it is untracked. Okay, so now it's always preferable to run git status before every action. So it means, see, for example, you have committed this thing and then you have added this thing to the staging area. Then again you need to check the git status so that whether it is turned to green or not. For example, you have created new file. Okay, then you have added that file to the staging area and you have committed it. Again, you need to check git status to make sure like that commit is working fine. Okay, so this is one of the important command which allows you to see the changes whatever you have done. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So now let us try to understand how we will run git add and git commit with various combinations. See, for example, git staging, if you want to add one file, only one file to the staging area, then you can use git add and file name. So here you can just add the file name. So next, for example, if you want to add the files with a specific extension, in this case .html, so you can also do it by using git add space star.html. So it will recognize all the files that has .html extension and it will add those files to the staging area. Then if you want to add everything, like all the files with all the extensions, all the combinations, all the directories, and you have not added anything to .ignore file, so you can do that by using git space add space dot. So what it does is it stages everything. So all the files, all the folders, it adds to the staging area. Okay, and it creates the snapshot. Then we have a command called as git space add space minus a, which stages all the files including the deleted files. So what it does is it will tell git what are the files that are deleted, what are the files that are ready to commit, what are the files that are added to the staging area, and so on. Okay, now on the other side we have git commit. Okay, so git commit, as I said in the earlier slide, it is used to save the changes to the local repository. So that you can do it by using git space commit space hyphen m, then the commit message. So this is the commit message. So you can give any string as a commit message, but it is important to give a meaningful name and the type of the commit. So we will also learn how to give the right commit messages in the coming slides. Okay, so git commit. So if you just enter git commit without any commit message, what it does is it will just open a default editor. There you can specify the commit message. So normally we won't be using this. Most of the times we'll be using directly the commit message. Okay, so that without opening the editor, we can directly commit by giving a right commit message. Now, if you want to perform git add plus git commit in the single command, okay, so that you can do it by using this particular command. Okay, so git space commit space hyphen am space message. Okay, yeah. So then we have how to fix the last commit. So for example, you have committed something and you want to change that commit, or you want to change just the message of that particular commit. So that you can do it by using git space commit space minus minus amend. So this is the command that allows you to fix the last commit. Yeah. So this is all about the commits. So when it comes to the workflow, this is how you will be doing it. So first you will be editing the files. Okay, so then what you are going to do, you will be adding those files to the staging area, which will create a snapshot in the staging, which are ready to commit. Then you will be committing. So what you want to commit it, or what you want to save it. Okay, so this process you need to repeat it daily. Okay, so because you will be modifying the files, you will be adding those files to the staging area or the changes to the staging area. Then you will be committing those files. Okay, so this will be the workflow. So next we will try to understand this complete procedure using the hands-on thing. Like for example, if you open the terminal on your operating system, first what you need to do, you need to create a directory, which is the normal folder. So like here you are going to create a directory with name hello hyphen git, and then you are going to switch to that particular directory. Then you need to run the init command, so which will convert this particular folder, whatever it is there, into the git repository, local git repository. So whenever you enter this command, so this is what it will be displayed. So it says initialized empty git repository. Okay, so then what you need to do after creating this, so you can open the editor or you can directly go into that particular folder. Then you can enter a file. Okay, you can create a file and you can add some content into that file. Okay, so once that is done, what you need to do is you need to add that file into the staging area. So this can be done by using git add file name. Okay, or you can just add git add space star. So what it does is it will add those files into the staging area. So then after adding these files to the staging area, what you need to do is you need to commit those files to save the changes, correct, into the local repository. So that can be done by using git space commit space hyphen m, then the commit message. Okay, so this is how you will be doing it. So for example, if all these commands are working fine, then you will be seeing the initial commit output. Then so after making all the changes, you need to check the status. Okay, after every step, whatever you have made. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so now in this slide, we will be learning about what are the various commit messages and better naming conventions that you can give for the commit messages that gives a good meaningful name on the work which you have completed. So for example, on left side, we do have bad commit messages, and the other side we have good commit messages. We will try to understand what is the preferred naming conventions. See, for example, stuff. If you do something, the other team member or your team member doesn't know what is that stuff which you have created, whether you have fixed a code, whether you have created a new feature, or whether you have created a documentation, whatever it is there. Now, for example, if you give something as fix, so it doesn't know what is the fix that you have given. Then some random characters if you give just for testing, so it is also not preferable whenever you do the actual commit. Then for example, this is one more bad commit message. So something like final final v2 final, these things. Then updated some files which doesn't give any information or which doesn't make any sense. Okay, now on the right side we do have some good commit messages. See, for example, if you give something like feat, which stands for feature, then colon, and you can give some meaningful message. So what is that feature you have developed? So I have developed a feature called as user login form. So this is one feature, and this is one good commit message. For example, you have made some fix, okay, bug fix, so that you can mention it using fix colon, then the commit message. Then, for example, you have created some documentation, you have refactored some code, you have added some test cases, so that you can do it by using test. Or if you are upgrading any version of the dependencies, then you can use something like core, all these things. Okay, so these are some of the good examples of good commit messages. Okay, now the formula to give a good commit message is you just need to add the type, then colon, some short description which is under 50 characters. Okay, yeah. So then let us revise what is the actual type and what is the meaning and in what cases you will be giving it. See, for example, feat, it stands for new feature. Then this is one sample commit message which you can give, feat colon and the commit message. Similarly, fix stands for bug fix. So whatever bug fix you have did, so that you can give it by using this particular commit message. And docs is for a documentation and style is for the formatting. So for example, if you have changed the indentation or anything in some JS files or HTML files or CSS files, so that you can give it by using style. Then, for example, if you have made some changes to the existing folder or files or refactor, existing functionality refactoring, that you can give it by using refactor. Okay. And for example, you have created some test cases and so that you can give it by using test. Then you have core. So for example, you are upgrading something, for example, React to 18.3, so that you can give it by using this particular type, commit type. Then for example, if you have optimizing, if you are optimizing any functionality or if you are improving the functionality of any application in terms of performance, that you can give it by using perf. Okay, so these are some of the commit types which you can give and which is the standard naming conventions which is followed worldwide. So then we have git log, which allows you to view your project history. Okay, so this is the commands. So git log, it will provide you with the full commit history. Then git log one line hyphen hyphen one line, which allows you to see one line per commit. Then we have git space log space hyphen hyphen graph, which shows the graph of that particular commits in the visual representation. Then if you want to see last n number of commits, you can give that number. So in this case, git space log space hyphen 5, which shows you with the last 5 commits only. And if you want to list the commits based on the author name, that you can do it by using git space log space hyphen hyphen author equal to author name. So this is how you will be viewing your project history using git log command. So then we have .gitignore that allows you to skip some specific files with the specific extension or specific folders. So this will tell Git what are the files that you need to skip. So for example, in this case, we have added some. So there will be a .gitignore file. See here, for example, if you want to skip the dependencies, node modules, vendor, the dependencies that are present in these folders, or if you want to skip the logs or the build outputs, or if you want to skip the environmental variables or the secrets, all these things you can just skip it by adding these files into the .gitignore file. Okay, so this is simple. You just need to add the extension and it will automatically ignore. Now, so this is how the daily workflow looks like. First, you will be checking the state of whatever modifications you did by using git status. Then you will be making changes and it means you are editing some files in your editor. Then you will review what is being changed. So you need to run git status again to see the changes whatever you have made. Then you need to add those changes to the staging area. that you can do it by using git add command, git space add space file, or git space add space all the files. So when you add dot, it will add all the files to the staging area. Then once it is added, you need to enter this command once again, git status, to check whether the files are being added to the staging area. So then we have a commit with message. So as I said, it is important to give the right commit message with the right commit type. Then in order to verify the commits, you can just check it by using git space log space hyphen hyphen online. Okay. Then, so this is what you will be doing it in day-to-day activity. So to summarize this complete workflow, this is the loop. You will be making some modifications. So let me mark it. You will be making some modifications. You will be adding those files to the staging. You will be committing those files. It means you are saving those files, and you are going to repeat this operation again and again. So this part is basically deals with the local repository. Correct? So modifying, adding the files to the staging, then committing files. Okay. So now let us try to summarize this by understanding some FAQs. See, for example, what are the three states of Git? So basically the three states of Git is nothing but first you have the working directory, then you will be adding those files to the staging area, then you will be committing those files. Okay, so these are the three states of Git. Then the next question is, what command turns a folder into a Git repository? As I said, git space init. Once you go into the folder and run git init command, what it does is it will convert your normal directory into Git repository. Okay. Now, what is the difference between git add and git commit? So git add moves the changes to the staging, whereas git commit saves them permanently into the local repository. Okay. So what goes into a .gitignore file? So all the files name and the patterns that Git should skip should be going into .gitignore file. Okay. Yeah. So this is the quick knowledge check. So now that the module is complete and you can now commit the code in your local repository, and in the next module we will be looking at working with remote repositories. So this case is about local repository. Now you need to move these changes into the local repository, remote repository, right? Because see, there will be multiple developers who are working on the same repository. So it's important. See, local changes are there in only your system. For example, if other developer wants to access and modify something, then you need to move this code to into the remote repository. Correct? So those things, how you can do it, that we will be checking by in the module 3, in the coming module. Okay, so before closing this, we will just do some hands-on session in VS Code with the whatever steps I have explained. Okay, so here I have already created a local repository and I have already added git in it. So for example, in order to check, like for example, ls space hyphen la. Okay, so here if you see here, so dot git. So whenever I run git space init command, what it does is it will create these particular files. Okay, this particular folder which tracks whatever you have done. So in this case, what I did is I have created some commands like a readme file with some commands. So this is the readme file. Okay. So if you see here, so these are the things. So here I have added all the commands, mkdir, then changing the directory, git it command, git add, all these things. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more file, some Java file. Okay. Like for example, hello world dot java. Okay. So here what we can do, like dot star, then let's create. Yeah. So here I have created a sample hello world program. Okay. So here we are not learning Java. We are just learning how to version control it. So if you see here guys, here you are seeing, okay, let me mark it. So here what you are doing seeing is M, which means you have modified something. This was an existing file, but you have modified something. Whereas here it shows untrack. U stands for untrack. So this means you have created a new file, but the Git doesn't know whether you have created it or not. So let us see how to add these files to the staging area. Okay, so for example, git status. Now if you see, you have modified something which is seen here, then you have some untracked files. So it means like this file is not recognized by Git. Oh sorry, let me change this name. It is hello world. Yeah. So now, for example, I have changed the name, right? File name. So now let us check git status. See, it has changed this to hello world.java. Okay. Yeah. So now there is one file that you have modified, and there is one file which you have not tracked, which you did not inform Git that you have created this file. Now, first step, what you need to do, you need to add all these files to the staging area, all these changes and files. So once you add it to the staging area, these both will turn into green color. So let us check how to do that. So you can just do it by using git add space dot. Okay. So now again we need to check the status. See guys, so here the modified files is recognized by Git, and the new file which you have created, this is also recognized by Git. Okay. Now as a next step, what you need to do, you need to commit. Okay. So committing can be done by using git commit space -m, some good commit message, feed colon created hello world dot java file. Okay. Now if you see here it has created two files and it has inserted 17 lines. Okay, so including all these things, like we have inserted some comments and we have added these lines of code, right? So all these things will be shown over here. So this is the commit. Now if you run the git status again, see there is nothing to commit. So it means like all the modifications which you did, okay, in your local repository, and whatever files you have created, that is recognized by Git and it is saved in your local repository. Now if you see, the M and U are disappeared. So it means now the changes are final, whatever you have changes you have made. Now the next command is to check the logs of every commit. So then you can just enter git space log. If you see here, it will show you with the list of commits. See, first what I did, I made an initial commit. Okay. Then I added a file with some commands into this particular local repository. Then I have created a new file called as hello world.java file. Okay. So all these things will be shown in git space log. Okay. So it will show all the commit history. Okay, by this you can recognize who is the author, when is this, when is it committed. Okay, all these things you will be knowing it. Okay, yeah, yeah. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to that content, and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.